Okay, you're ready to go.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Call to order Village of Milan Board of Trustees regular meeting, Thursday, June 16th, 2022 at 5:47 p.m. Roll call, Trustee Mercer,
Present.
Trustee Lopez,
Present.
Trustee Archuleta,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Present.
Thank you. Opening prayer, I'll do the opening prayer, and Trustee Mercer, would you do the pledge?
Yes, sir.
Lord, we ask that you guide us in always making the correct decisions for the Village of Milan. We ask that you watch over our troops and our first responders. Watch over the elderly in our village and those that are sick. Watch over the men and women fighting the forest fires. We also pray for the health of Trustee Lopez and former Trustee Helen Dion. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the
of
flag
the United
of the
States
United
of
States
America,
of America,
to the republic
and
for which it stands,
to stand
one nation,
one nation, under God,
Visible
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
Liberty.
liberty.
liberty and
For all.
justice for all.
We have one minor change to the agenda. Police chief will do his report during the public comment. Other than that, are there any other changes to the agenda? If not, I need a motion to approve the agenda, please.
I'll make a motion.
I make a
to
motion.
approve agenda.
I'll second the
whatever.
motion.
Something went wrong here.
Okay, can I make a motion again to accept the agenda?
Okay, hang on just a sec. Okay, a motion by Trustee Archuleta, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow. Trustee Mercer,
Yes.
Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have the budget hearing. At this time, we're going to leave our regular meeting and have comments concerning budget for Village of Milan fiscal year 2021. Need a motion to leave the meeting and go into the hearing.
I make a motion to go into the hearing, and it's for Milan fiscal year 2022.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow, and I think it was seconded by Trustee Mercer. Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Trustee Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow,
Yes.
Trustee Mercer.
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have any comments concerning the budget?
I don't have no comments at this point.
Okay, hearing no comments, we will join our regular meeting again, reconvene our meeting. I need a motion to go back into regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to reconvene at this time.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Trustee Mercer, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow Trustee Chuleta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbo,
Yes.
Trustee Lopez. Trustee Lopez. Trustee Lopez. Trustee Mercer.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll get back to
Sorry,
just,
my thing got muted and I couldn't unmute it.
okay, there was a motion to go back into the regular meeting.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, Police Chief will give his report.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. I do appreciate making some adjustments. We got our last T-ball practice here at 6:30 before our first game, so I didn't want to miss that. But I do appreciate it. Thank you for adjusting the agenda. So I think you guys got a copy of our report for May. If you notice, I'll just pick through some of the things that stood out. Calls for service were up for May. Pretty big increase for offensive reports compared to other months. It's usually right around that 120, 130. The rest were pretty consistent. Traffic stops, auto accidents went up a little bit. Medical calls were up. Still don't know what's going on with, I get these records from dispatch. I apologize for the chiming there. Still not able to figure out the area checks and business checks. The guys are still doing those, but they seem to be lower. I know they've had some new dispatch, so I'll have to find out why those are down, but they are doing area checks and business checks regularly. Incidents were down, which is always good. Gives us other areas to concentrate our time on if we're not running calls, more calls. Average response time was a little bit up, which that's still good for compared to the national average. Just some things we did last month. I had mentioned previously, I had gotten on with DWI compliance, and we got with MAD to do some presentations geared towards our 7th, 8th graders. Not so much into high school yet, but we're looking at adjusting that for next year. We did a presentation at St. Teresa's for about 12 kiddos, and then at Los Alamitos, 2 groups at 250 in one group, and I think the other was close to 200. So we got that program out there, and we're hoping to do that a little bit more in the fall. It's called the Power of Youth presentation. It goes over dangers of drinking, marijuana use, and letting the kiddos know that they have the power to make these decisions, and to help out their classmates as well. We had the annual kindergarten kids came over for the tour of the PD, check out our squads. Obviously the fire department was here. They got the tour of the village and see what other departments do, which that's always pretty neat, just to see you know, the look on their face when they see the trucks, but also what everyone does in our village. Officer Poe and Sergeant Glendale participated in the torch run for Special Olympics. So that was run again. I don't think McKinley Conley was involved this year, so it actually started in Milan. So we got the privilege to get that going that morning as it made its way towards Albuquerque. We were present for the Run for the Wall at Milan. Excuse me. At Milan Elementary. I think, Mr. Mayor, you received a plaque. I was kind of in and out. I apologize, but we also got one as well, which was great. That they recognized the village and our PD for assisting with that. We had we assisted the FBI and CCSO in executing a search warrant here in Milan in reference to the first bank robbery. It was discovered that they were hiding out, and we did locate some evidence in the vehicle involved there. So I think the suspects are still at large, but we were able to get with those agencies and work well with them. We got with the county. There was another pretty bad incident that started in the county. It worked its way into our village, and we executed another search warrant at a residence here in Milan to collect evidence, and it went safely. Nobody was injured. We even there was a large dog there that was unharmed as well. So we appreciate the county and them assisting us with our issue from that incident here in our village. Flock cameras, I've mentioned flock cameras, the cameras we have up in town for the license plates and vehicles. We have one camera that's down, but we continue to get stolen vehicles, stolen plates. Actually, I got a stolen vehicle, and then I got a stolen plate. They pulled into our village hall here out of Colorado. So we dealt with that, and we actually had another one this morning that we weren't able to locate. So the cameras are working. It's a very good system. With the cameras, we had a conference or a Zoom meeting with a representative, and they added a new tool to the cameras, which will give us live video. So we're trying to figure out ideas on where we're having issues in the community. Obviously, the parks are mentioned, but we have to tie it in with gathering license plates, and obviously the schools. I mean, to get a live view of the front of the school at all times, where we could pull that up in our car and have that, or in the office. And we'll see about if maybe dispatch gets that well, but obviously we want to protect our school as much as possible. So having a live feed at all times would be great. Officer Antonio Pohl has resigned from the police department. He was doing very well, but just had some realizations about what we go through on a day-to-day or week-to-week with how people perceive police officers. I think he would have been a really good officer, but I mean, we can't fault him for giving it a shot and letting us know now before we invested any more into him for training. All the officers completed a legal block course that was free 2 weeks ago, and that goes into our biennium training. So there was a bunch of updates in the legal area that a new company has offered services to all the officers in the state. So it was free of charge, and we got some good information out of that. POTCO is sponsoring our T-ball team. Again, they took care of us with the uniforms. I'm in contact with Bobby Little Bear over there. She's always great. Ask us what do we need, and they took care of us again for our uniforms for the kiddos. So we thank her. Equipment. Walmart, we had a need for equipment. I don't know if you guys caught the article that ran in the paper, but Walmart helped us out with helmets, bats, baseballs, which will be here once we're finished. They stay here with the recreation department, and we'll get to use those every year. With that, we are thanking store manager James Hankins and manager Jennifer Beard. When I went in, she asked us, what do we need? How much do we need? Had priced things the day before, and they said, no problem, get what you need. Officer Salazar and Officer Pacheco, they went through a step training. This allows them to work some of these grants that the state's providing funding for us. So to get some more officers out there that's able to work these is great. Again, that training was free as well, so didn't come out of our budget. So they got that behind them. Officer Howard, Pacheco, and Salazar and myself are helping coach our T-ball team here in Milan. It's been going good. It's always good to be around the kiddos. Mr. Mayor, we've talked about this before. You've coached, and just the kiddos, some of the stuff they say or come up with is amazing, and it's just it brightens up your day. So after a long day, having practice at 6:30 to get to hang out with these kids is awesome. Our first game is Monday at 6:30. If you guys could make it, It usually gets pretty packed over there the first couple games. There's a game at 6:30 and at 7, so if you're able to attend, that'd be great. I spoke with Linda about possibly getting a training for our village staff on active shooter. I am what's called a civilian response to active shooter events instructor, so that's something I need to work on just to get something in place. It's always good to have more information on what you can do, or what across the country they're recommending in situations like that. So hopefully we'll get that here soon. You guys may have saw Petro was robbed last week at about 3 a.m. Guy came in completely covered face, pulled out a gun, and in and out within 2 minutes. Small amount of money, but it's still scary that that happened in our village here. So and I don't know if you guys get out at night, but I've been working some night shifts, and the parking lots over there at the truck stops, they get pretty packed. I didn't know it was that busy over there at night. Weekends especially, it adds tons and tons of traffic through our area, even though it's at one part of town, but it's still a lot of people. So it's something we need to look into, because doesn't appear it was related to the robbery and grants at Wells Fargo, but could have very easily been somebody passing through on a truck, a passenger or someone there, and then it's just hard to predict, So last thing I got is a new program we're hoping to launch tomorrow or early next week, and I'll try to figure out. I did a quick PowerPoint presentation. I think that that may make more sense. Nope. Are you guys seeing it? I don't know if I did that right. Did a PowerPoint pop up that says "You are not alone" by chance?
Not yet.
Not.
Did you share your screen?
Host disabled. Okay. So I hit and Mike, I don't know if you can hear me. I hit the green in the middle that says share screen, but it's popping up host disabled participant screen sharing.
The host has to allow you to do that. So whoever's hosting the meeting.
Go ahead and click it. It should allow you now.
Okay. Let's see. All right. Possibly have something that popped up. You are not alone. Couple hands.
Yeah, it's there. Just go ahead and start to play the slideshow.
Okay. All right. So this is a program. There's different versions of it nationally. The one I was familiar with is called "You Are Not Alone," or for short, YANA. So I kind of just created a quick PowerPoint on what this is. So it's a free telephone research and
Hey,
welfare.
Carl, we
Yeah.
can't see we see your slides, but they're real small. So go to style slideshow and then start the slideshow, and that way we can see the slides better.
And where's that at on,
Top menu slideshow. You're right. Up.
right here?
Now go all the way to the left. As you go left, you see there's slideshow underneath your mouse pointer. Yep. And then go to the far left from beginning. And
Is that better?
I don't see any difference. It looks like you clicked it, but it still looks the small ones. I don't know if anybody else sees something different, but
Okay, well, I'll kind of explain it. I mean, if you have questions or you're really wanting to see this 5-slide PowerPoint person, just let me know. I could explain it pretty quick. So what Yana is, it's a free telephone reassurance and welfare maintenance program for residents of the Village of Milan. Hopefully, if it catches on, county, it'll spread throughout the county, and maybe the sheriff's department, GPD could use this. So what it is, it's designed to provide a daily phone contact, mostly geared towards our senior citizens, disabled persons, or anybody in the community that would benefit from a phone call or something daily, maybe a visit that's a routine contact. So basically the goal of this program, provide a peace of mind of security from our community members. So the way I use this at my prior employment, mostly when we had a large group in our community that's PTSD, depression, suicidal thoughts, attempting suicide. So we had routinely got sent to the same residences or the same places. So my goal was to let these people know that we actually were there for them if they need to talk before it gets to a point where it's too late. So when I had time, I would often stop by the people that we were dealing with, quite frankly, just to chat with them very briefly, or stop by, see how they were doing. And the calls started decreasing. We would still get a couple calls here and there at some, but it just, the contact, 5-10 minutes, when I had time, it made a big difference in people's lives where they felt like they were not alone. We actually cared, and we checked up on them. So our youth in the community as well, we have a lot of runaways, others that, we'd stop by, just check on them. And I just, again, letting them know they're not alone. People actually do care. Our seniors in the area, a lot of times family live out of town, and they'd call and say, we haven't heard from them in 2 days. Well, with this program, we're making daily contact. Right now, it would be myself, administrative assistant Peaches, depending on the times they sign up, the officers, Chaplain Thatcher, looks like might possibly be on board. And in the future, I'd like to create a volunteer program here at the PD or some type of internship with the high school. Maybe we could get those individuals to make these phone calls for us. But so basically we call, let's say we have somebody that signs up and they want us to call between 8 and 10 in the morning. We call, and after several attempts, they're not answering the phone. So we'll have an emergency contact list. We'll send the police over there, medical personnel, just to make sure what's going on. And that they're okay, because a lot of times, we'll get those calls. I haven't heard from my mom in 2-3 days, a week. And then it turns out they might be at a doctor's appointment, might be on vacation, and there's spots in the form I'll show you where you can fill that out, that if you're out of town. What we got is 2 ways to get registered for this. Mike, thank you. He created a link from the Village of Milan website. And I think if I click on it on my end, it might, I don't know if it's going to pop up on your side, but it should show our village website pop up on your screen. And if you go to the top right under job opportunities, the Yana registration is there. You could click on that. And basically what I'm going over and a little bit more information is covered, and you can read what the program is, what we do, how does it work. It's a free program. It's voluntary. It's not anything mandatory. But if you could see under how can you or a loved one participate, it gives you two ways. You could sign up here and click submit the form, and that will go to Administrative Assistant Peaches. She already has a book completed where she'll put that in there. We have documentation on phone calls daily and any notes we need to make on if anything changes. Or you could stop by the Milan Police Department and pick up a form, and we could register that way, either with myself or with our administrative assistant. There's just some disclaimers on there. I mean, this is obviously not a substitute for 911 in an event of an emergency. Always call 911 at the bottom. And if you click on the top left, the registration form that Mike created, thank you again for doing that, Mike. Just information. He has an asterisk on, what you need to type in there. That's mandatory. And you can see it goes over emergency contacts, best time of day they want us to call with some options, medical conditions we might know about, or they might need to let us know about. The other thing that this is good for too is we rolled out that Ready, Set, Go program. And I know the fire chief would appreciate this. It was brought up the meeting we had about knowing who's on oxygen, or knowing if we have to evacuate people. We will have possibly this information in our file, which would help expedite that process of evacuating. I went through that pretty quick. I don't know if anyone has any questions on my report or anything, or this Yana report, which we're hoping to roll out tomorrow or possibly early next week. But that's all I got. If you guys have any questions.
Any questions?
No.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You better hurry, you're gonna be late.
I will. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
I don't know about the rest of you, but my screen still shows the little bitty presentation I was gonna do. There you go. Okay, now we go to public comments. Are there any public comments? Okay, if not, we will proceed to approval of minutes. Board of Trustees special meeting May 4th, 2022. Board of Trustees special meeting May 11th, 2022. Board of Trustees workshop May 12th, 2022. Board of Trustees special meeting May 17th, 2022. And Board of Trustees special meeting May 27th, 2022.
I'll make a motion to accept the approval of minutes.
I'll second.
Motion by Trustee Mercer, second by Trustee Chuleta. Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brambalo,
Yes.
Trustee Chuleta,
Yes.
Trustee Mercer.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, now we're gonna leave our meeting again to have another hearing to hear any public concerns regarding ordinance 286 through 290. Need a motion to go into this hearing.
I'll make a motion to go into the hearing.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Trustee Mercer, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brambalo. Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Trustee Chuleta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brambalo,
Yes.
Trustee Mercer.
Yes.
Okay, do we have any public concerns regarding the ordinances?
Had no public comment come into my office.
I'm sorry?
There has been no public comments as far as I know from the office. I don't know if
Okay.
anybody's on the YouTube channel to comment.
No, there are no comments.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. We will now reconvene the meeting. I need a motion to go back into our meeting.
I make a motion to reconvene the meeting.
I'll second.
I'll second it.
A motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow, second by Trustee Archuleta. Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Trustee Mercer,
Yes.
Trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we have a presentation, Northwest New Mexico Council of Governments.
All righty, thank you, everyone. Am I allowed to share my screen? Yes.
Yes, sir, you should be able to.
All righty, can you guys see that there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. All righty, good evening, Mr. Mayor, trustees. Thank you for allowing me to present tonight. My name is Brandon Helm with the Northwest New Mexico Council of Governments, and I'm here to just provide a general overview of our organization, but also as part of our contract renewal discussion as well. So thank you again. This is first half of this presentation. I think a majority of you have already seen, but for Trustee Mercer, this might be your first time seeing this as well. So a little bit of background of our organization. So our organization operates in Northwest New Mexico. So that includes San Juan, McKinley, and Cibola County. There are 7 council of governments, regional planning organizations throughout the state. And we are the district number 1 in the state. A snapshot of our region, this is just to provide you a sense of what we cover in terms of our service area. So we cover San Juan, McKinley, and Cibola counties, 9 local governments, 5 tribal governments, including Raymond Navajo. And just in general, the region itself is over 15,000 square miles. There are over 222,000 people in our region, and it's a predominantly rural region with the density of 11 persons per square mile. Our structure as an organization, so the COG has supported kind of planning and planning development activities in Northwest New Mexico for over 40 years. We initially started out as the McKinley Area Council of Governments, but then expanded to include San Juan and Cibola County later stages. But we are a dual designated quasi-governmental and regional planning agency for the state of New Mexico, specifically at the local government division. And we're also a economic development district as part of the U.S. Economic Development Administration. And so we do get our funding in 3 places. So we get our funding from the state of New Mexico and the U.S. federal government. But in order to access those funding, we have to provide our own internal match. So it's 1-to-1. It's also 80-20 for others. And so the way our organization is structured is we have our members, which include San Juan County, McKinley County, Cibola County, Aztec, Bloomfield, Farmington, Gallup, Grants, Milan, and the Northwest New Mexico Regional Solid Waste Authority. So each one of those local governments and entities kind of appoints individuals from their governing bodies to our board of directors. And so that board of directors oversees our executive director, which is Evan Williams. And in turn, he kind of supervises our entire organization. So that includes consultants and contractors, my team, which is the planning and program development, and of course, our administrative and finance and HR services. So this is our team. The top left is our executive director, Evan Williams. We have Angelina Gray on our staff as a planner. She is getting trained up on water development and environmental planning, but she's also familiar with the typical planning work such as ICIP, CDBG, Water Trust Board, and other kind of planning and grant programs. Michael Sage is our regional economic program manager, so he handles a lot of the activities, almost all the activities related to economic development in the region. And so a lot of his work in the village of Milan is tied to the Milan Industrial Park, but also tied to the Milan and Pruitt transportation study. Robert Kuipers is our transportation program manager, so he oversees our regional transportation planning organization, which the village of Milan participates in. So this is kind of the vessel that NDOT runs their funding programs through. There is the new kind of, it's still in its infancy, but the Transportation Project Fund, which Milan has tapped into. So that program applicants and applications are submitted through our organization and reviewed by Mr. Kuipers and then submitted to the state for review. We have Martina Whitmore, who's our administrative assistant, helps us with all things admin, finance, and HR. And we also have Carrie House, who is kind of our lead in outdoor recreation, data, and mapping. And then, of course, myself, which I kind of oversee the planning team, including Angelina, Robert, Carrie. So during our last board meeting, which was held at the Continental Divide Electric conference room, our executive director presented our new annual work program to the board. And so this breaks down all of the COG activities and kind of allocates it to a specific mission or and it's either a mission support objective or a core mission objective. And it really talks about, you know, regional leadership and partnerships, operation and innovation, all level planning, implementation and integration, projecteering, strategic, infrastructure, and then just our innovation piece. And so almost, I think, you know, all of our activities that we undertake at the COG, whether, you know, it's within the realm of Milan or not, it all goes here. So everything that our planners do, it gets tied to one of our missions here. So with that, as I mentioned before, our local governments help us establish our organization and appoint members to our board. This is all based on our membership dues and service policies. And this is based on a level of service. So the local entity provides an annual due to the Council of Governments. In turn, we provide them services. What we have done is we have allocated 3 classes of service to our members, and it's based on, of course, the amount of dues. And so for the Village of Milan, last year, the annual due was $13,500. During the last COG board meeting, the COG board approved an annual 2.5% increase starting in fiscal year 23, which is coming up. And so the next annual due for the Village of Milan would be $13,838. And that rolls up into 150 hours a year. And so that's how our memberships are structured. It really is, you get all services of the COG, it's just a matter of hours. One of the things that I will say, and you'll see in a couple slides later, is the hours are just kind of a benchmark for us, just to kind of keep us in line and also to help us establish a work program that fits within the time that is allotted based on our membership and service policy. So once an entity pays into the Council of Governments, we work with the managers. And so we did work with Linda, and then we also met with Denise as well to review our member work program. And so upon continuation of partnership with the Council of Governments, we provide this document here, which outlines all the services and activities that we intend to do within the next 2 fiscal years. And so we break it down by general services, planning, projects, programs, and then special projects, which are a little more specific and require a comprehensive set of services. And so we went through this, we met with Linda, we talked about some of the items on here. We modified things, we added things. And so I believe we have a complete draft that is ready for your review and execution with the manager upon approval of continuation of partnership with the Council of Governments. So this is not all the pages that are attached to this report here. I just wanted to show you how everything works with the Council of Governments. So once we execute that paper form work program, what we do is we take that information, we put it into a Microsoft Planner, and we utilize this as part of our annual or quarterly consultations with the managers. And so everything that is entered into the paper form gets transferred over into our digital form, and this is how we track and monitor our progress. And so we can add specific tasks, subtasks, deadlines. We can attach files, and then we also invite the manager and the projects coordinator into this website and software, so they have the opportunity to review our progress as we're moving along. In an effort to kind of be transparent about, how we're utilizing your funding, we do provide and monitor our hours. Again, it's based on our membership dues. Again, it is more of an internal benchmark, and it also helps us set our 2-year work program. And so, sometimes it's above the threshold or the benchmark. Sometimes it's below the benchmark. And so we just wanted to be transparent at all times with how many hours we're spending on the contract, and also what we're doing, and it also ties to kind of our status reports as we're meeting quarterly with the members. We do provide annual reports to the local entities, so we send this out to the managers, and hopefully they distribute that information across the governing body. Again, it includes our hours reports, but it also talks about our planning highlights, our project highlights, program highlights, and then just our regional initiatives. So part of your membership dues goes to direct services for the Village of Milan. The remainder of it goes to regional activities, being that we are a regional planning organization. So we do, again, economic development. We do Sooty Mountain Trails projects, outdoor recreation, and we're slowly starting to build our water and environment program that we're hoping to eventually roll out into Seaboard County. Really quick, this is just some impact by the numbers, basically the return on your investment. So for the Village of Milan, as I mentioned before, you guys paid us $13,500 for the year. In return, we assisted the Village of Milan with numerous planning activities, but we also assisted you guys with some grant funding and grant writing applications. And so I think the biggest award that we received over the past fiscal year was an award of $3.3 million for Airport Road Phase 1, and that's from 66 down to the Rio San Jose Bridge. And so that was a big award there. I think it was one of the biggest ones in our region. So that stood out, and we also were able to secure a match waiver for that. We also applied or made a request to the governor for airport road utilities. There was a gap that was identified. We haven't heard back from them, so we're leaving that as pending. We did work with Denise on trying to secure funding from T-Mobile, which is they have a small community grant program with a maximum amount of $50,000. It's a nationally competitive grant. We thought we had a good chance. We put together the best application that we could, and it was tailored around securing funding for playground equipment. Unfortunately, we were denied that grant, but it looks like a lot of the entities that were awarded were organizations and local governments from large metropolitan areas. Just recently, in May, we were approached by DOT regarding special planning funds. Our executive director reached out to Linda and Denise and sought approval for a $15,000 match to help us secure $120,000 for the transportation plan. So that'll be a kind of a municipal transportation plan for the village of Milan and the city of Grants combined. And so what we're hoping is that that plan will identify transportation needs, highlight safety issues, and will make the village of Milan eligible for Safe Streets for All funding, which is coming down through the bipartisan infrastructure law. So that's where the big money is at. And so we're hoping that this plan will help us get there. It is going to be awarded in fiscal year 23. And so again, I think we have a $120,000 grant, $15,000 match from the village of Milan, and $15,000 match from the city of Grants to give us $150,000 to hire a consultant to do a transportation plan for the village of Milan. Just on a side note, we also, we're still in the fiscal year, but we did apply for Airport Road Phase 3 and then Willow Drive as part of the Transportation Project Fund process. And so it looks like we applied for roughly $4 million total. I think the priority is going to be Airport Road to just finish that corridor off. I can't remember, one of your consultants assisted you with obtaining water trust board funding for the bridge and the drainage infrastructure there. So hopefully we can get this phase 3 funded and get that corridor fully constructed and funded. And so in fiscal year 22, we took the $15,000 match. Basically, when you add all of the applications together, we leveraged that $15,000 to secure $3.4 million for the village of Milan. And so on the right-hand side, the dollar bill infographic there, this is kind of our regional return on investment. And so what we've done is we have taken the membership dues. Again, as I mentioned before, we utilize that as a 1-to-1 and 80-to-20 kind of match for our federal and state funding. And so that middle portion here is kind of where we build our employee and salary fund. And so this is what allows us to pay our employees, which we then turned around and we were able to secure roughly $28 million for the region. And so I believe we did 3.4 in Milan. I think we did 4 point something in grants and about 2 million for Cibola County. So close to $10 million roughly for Cibola County entities. That doesn't include our regional work as well. So stuff in the Zuni Mountains and other outdoor recreation activities that we've got going on. Sorry about that. So the last thing on my slide is basically at the bottom. We're getting really efficient and getting better at getting and securing funding for our local entities. And again, this is all regional on this right-hand side. But in 2019, in fiscal year 2019, we were at an 8-to-1 return on investment as a region. So this year we're at a 26-to-1 return on investment. And we haven't calculated all the extra grants that we've gotten awarded within the last couple of months. And so that was as of March 22. And so again, we can't do any of this work without membership dues and our partnership with the village and our local entities. It allows us to provide services for you, but also provide services for the region as a whole. And so we appreciate the partnership that we've had with the village of Milan. So with that, I'll go ahead and just wrap it up. This is on the left-hand side is Evan Williams, our executive director, and I am Brandon Howe, lead planner for the Council of Governments. And so with that, I can stand for any questions.
Got any questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Action discussion items. Acceptance of municipal court cash journal for May 2022. Questions? If not, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the municipal court cash journal for May 2022.
And I'll second the motion.
Motion by trustee Lopez, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brumble. Trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
trustee Mercer,
Yes.
trustee Lopez,
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Brumble.
Yes,
Thank you. Approval of finance report, May 2022. Do we have any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by trustee Archuleta, second by trustee Lopez. Mayor Pro Tem Brumble,
yes,
trustee Mercer,
Yes.
trustee Lopez,
Yes,
trustee Archuleta.
Yes.
Thank you.
Did my slideshow did not work?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, okay. So I'll just go through it real quick. I know you already approved it. It got stuck and didn't want to load, so we'll go through it real fast. I just wanted to talk about a couple of things as we do this. I'll skip through all the boring stuff. Our GRTs were up really good this time. So our May RGTs brought in 276,235.58, which is 46,000 more than last month and 75,000 more than we predicted for revenue in this month. So that was a good chunk there. So that was good. We're staying above what we predicted, so that makes us very happy. Here it is broke down so you guys can look at it. These are in your packet, so if you ever have any questions, you can look. Our pool cash report is still in balance. Everything's working beautifully there. It's taking so much time out of the day-to-day stuff, so that's a great thing. Our check detail certification, we had 165 payables. We paid it with 82 regular checks, 1 bank draft. We had 3 voided checks. And Tyler said that's just a thing that's going to happen when there's a bunch of payables on one check register. So there's nothing we can do about that. And then the amount paid out was $340,902.14. So it wasn't a horrible. I wanted to touch base with you on a couple of things tonight. It is the end of the fiscal year, so we're working hard on getting, making sure all of our funds are in balance, making sure nothing's in the negative at the fund level and also at the department level. So we're working on that. We're also working on some changes for the final budget. One of the things that I am requesting some guidance for tonight is in our interim budget, we had added a new position into the streets of a CDL driver. I'm asking for guidance. What I'd like to do is move that out of the streets department and into the joint utility. Joint utility is a self-sustaining fund. This is the biggest thing. A little background on why this is happening right now. Ordinance number 9 was passed in 1957, enacting a gas tax for the village of Milan. The state has since, I'm sorry, and it states in that ordinance that the governing body can direct how that funding is spent. Part of that funding has been used to pay salaries and things over the years because our population mark was under 3,000, so we were allowed to do that. Since then, New Mexico's taken over the distribution and governance of this tax, and one of the statutes states that these revenues have to go to brick and mortar projects on the roads. There is the stipulation again that says any population under 3,000 can use it for general tax or for general purposes. which we have done, but we have reached the point where we can no longer do that because our population has exceeded the 3,000 population mark. So what this basically means in a nutshell is I would like to move that position out of the streets position and put it in the joint utilities. That will keep us from having to supplement so much from the general fund into the streets fund. So that was one thing that we would like to talk about on the final budget. And the other thing is, Linda brought it to my attention that our joint utility still is very understaffed. And she would like to add a couple positions there or look at adding a couple of positions there. So I would like some guidance on that. And there's two options. Option one is the one that takes it out of streets and puts it in joint utilities and adds those two extra positions. They'll just be laborers positions. And then option two keeps it in streets where we would have to supplement it with the general fund.
So Candy, how many employees do we have under the 216 account, the street fund that we're paying for now?
So we have two. We have the mechanic and our street supervisor. So just two right now.
So they will be paid out of joint utilities also if you move this fund over there? It'll go to joint utilities?
No, those two positions would stay there in the streets department. And that's where in the option number one, we would have to transfer $115,000 from the general fund to cover their salaries, those two salaries. We add the other position in there, then we'll have to transfer $175,000.
Okay, and these two positions that need to be hired will be out of joint utilities, correct?
That is correct.
Okay,
And those would be permanent positions.
and are they budgeted for, or will we have to make an adjustment on the budget for that?
That's what I'm asking for guidance for is your permissions and guidance to move that one street position and to add those two into the final budget submission.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. You guys have a preference on which way you would rather me go before the final budget?
Well, it sounds like you pretty well worked it out to where we can do this. So I'm okay with it.
With the option one.
Yes.
Okay, I agree with that, but I think there's with our meeting and presentation tonight, the ones that are on the phone cannot see the graphic. They cannot see what you're, they can just hear your voice. So I agree with that. I think we should go with option, myself, option number one.
Same here. I'm fine with option number one.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have the resolution 2022-022, bar number 11. Ms. Candy.
Yes, sir. So this is quick and easy. We are looking at what needs to be transferred from the general fund into the streets fund to cover the payroll expenses for fiscal 22. That's your first two lines. The third line is going to be voted on tonight as well. That will be ordinance or resolution 2022-23. That's the utility billing write-offs. We needed to create the expense should that get approved. And then the last one is just increasing our revenue. We had $500 budgeted in zoning permits, and we are closer to 900. So we just needed to adjust that revenue there. So it's mostly just housekeeping. Pretty quick and simple on this one.
Okay. Any questions?
None. I
No.
don't have any.
Okay, I need a motion then.
No.
Yes, we do need a motion to it.
Yes.
I'll make a motion for resolution number 2022-22 bar 11.
And I'll second the motion.
Motion by trustee Lopez, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brumlow. Trustee Chuleta,
Yes.
trustee Mercer,
Yes.
trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumlow.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2022-023, removal of uncollectible water utility and unsecured accounts.
I had a question on it, on this. Do we have an amount that we're writing off?
I do, yes. So I will go over that with you. We're writing off a total of, I'm sorry, got sidetracked. A total of 95 accounts over 7 years. And they range all the way from $1 to $500. There's quite a range of them. The last time we could find that a write-off was done was in 2011. So since the mayor brought it to my attention, not everybody can see the slideshow, I'll go through it. In 2011, we're writing off 2 accounts for a total of $45.93. 2012 will be 15 accounts for $16,046.76. For 2013 will be 16 accounts for $2,860.46. 2014, we're writing off 11 accounts for $2,275.68. 2015, we're writing off 12 accounts for $5,151.61. 2016 is 20 accounts, $2,698.28. And then in 2017, 16 accounts for a total of $5,069 and oh my goodness, $2,569.91. And then 2018 up until July 1st or June 1st, I apologize, we're writing off 3 accounts for $353.19. The total amount that we would need to write off is $17,601.82. Eileen has done an excellent job at collecting as many outstanding water billing accounts as she can. These 95 counts over the 7-year period have just proven to be uncollectible. Some of them have passed, some of the properties are vacant and not going to be re-inhabited, or water is not going to be reinstated there. So we have made every attempt to collect these accounts, and it's just proven impossible. So it's showing on our aging report, and it just doesn't look good. If we can get that down below 20,000, that would be a safe place for us to be. Right now, we're at about 40,000, so we need to cut some of that off there. So this is for resolution 2023 or 2022-23.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. That was very good.
Absolutely.
Any questions?
Yes, I have a question. So if somebody was to purchase one of these properties, would they have to pay that amount due, or is it just considered write-off and they start from the beginning?
So that's how we have collected so much, was doing that exact thing. Is if somebody moved in or bought that property, they had to pay the outstanding water bill. Most of these are attached to people that have passed and the property is unsellable, or was combined with another utility some other way. If when these are written off, they will not, we won't hold it against the next person coming in if that property does sell. So it wouldn't pass on, it would be written off. They would start.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I need a motion.
No, I make a motion to approve resolution 2022-023.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow, seconded by Trustee Lopez. Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow,
Yes.
Trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Trustee Mercer,
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, Council of Government Annual Membership Agreement. Who's gonna take that one?
Do we need
Okay.
to make a motion on that one?
I'm sorry, you saw the presentation. This is Linda. My computer kicked me off and I won't let me reconnect. So I come in Candy's office here. But this is an agreement. It's for dues for a year. And it's 13,838. You saw the presentation, which actually demonstrated what they actually do for us and how much they assist us and how much they actually use our money to make us money. So we are asking that the board would approve this yearly contract.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, if
No.
not, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Council of Governments Annual Membership Agreement of 13,838 annually.
I'll second.
Motion by Trustee Lopez, second by Trustee Archuleta. Trustee Mercer,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow,
Yes.
Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Trustee Archuleta.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have Council of Government Board appointments made at the organizational meeting confirmation.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, this is for you to select and identify individuals that will be in a position, a voting position on the board.
Okay. Any questions?
No.
Is it gonna be like an assigned position or volunteer?
This would be somebody that you would select that would actually participate. And Brandon, you want to explain that question?
Sure. So yeah, typically what our local governments do is they appoint someone from their governing body. So whether it's the mayor or the trustees, they would appoint that individual that would attend our COG board meetings on a quarterly basis, and gives you a voting ability during our COG board meetings. But the other thing as well is there's also an alternate. And so what a lot of entities have done is they select someone from their governing body, and then their alternate is their manager or their management position. And so in this case, it could be any one of you trustees or the mayor, and then possibly Linda as the alternate.
Thank you.
Okay, when we did this at the beginning, when we had our meeting, it was Trustee Lopez was the voting delegate, and I had appointed Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow to also be on with Trustee Lopez. Do we have to change one of them now?
No, you can keep it the same. I think it's just good practice since we're updating our annual contract to update our membership and appointees as well. And so they could stay the same if you want.
That's okay. That's fine. We'll keep it like that.
Okay, perfect. And I just want to throw a little plug out there. Our annual luncheon is on August 3rd. It'll be here in Gallup. So last year we did it in Grants at the golf course. It's kind of our big annual meeting. Of course, the two appointees are welcome to join, but you all are as well, the entire trustees, if you would like to come out to Gallup on August 3rd to attend our annual luncheon and board meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Okay, I
you.
need a motion to accept this.
I'll make the
I make a
motion.
motion.
I'll make the motion, to keep it the same way as it is now with the same appointees.
And I'll second the motion.
Motion by trustee Archuleta, second by Pro Tem Brumbelow. Trustee Mercer,
Yes.
trustee Lopez,
Yes,
trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Yes.
Thank you. Resolution 2022-021, Village of Milan's acceptance of MAP funding and request of waiver. We request for waiver.
Hey, this is a funding agreement in the amount of $407,067. 75% of that is DOT, 25% is us. This will allow us to also apply for a match waiver. Excuse me. This project is tied into Airport Road Phase 3. So we asked for quite a bit and we got a little bit, so this is a start, but Brandon is going to help us seek additional funding on this one as well. So with your approval, this will accept the grant agreement and allow us to apply for the match waiver.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions?
No.
no,
Okay, I need a motion, please.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2022-021.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow, second by trustee Archuleta. Trustee Lopez,
yes,
trustee Mercer,
Yes.
trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
Yes.
Next, we have resolution 2022-020, Village of Milan's acceptance of LGRF and requests for match waiver.
Okay, this one is local government road fund. We did apply for quite a bit of money. We were able to get 213,839 committed. 75% of that is DOT share and 25% of that is our portion. With this resolution, we are also asking to apply for the match waiver in the amount of $53,459. This one right here is tied into Cottonwood Drive. We're hoping this will be enough to pay for at least the planning.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
No.
Okay, if not, need a motion to accept this.
I make a motion to accept resolution 2022-020.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow, second by trustee Lopez. Trustee Mercer,
Yes.
trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow,
Yes.
trustee Lopez.
Yes,
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 2286, floodplain ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, this is required by the state of New Mexico. And we do have a floodplain ordinance presently, but it is very outdated. And so what we've done is we've updated the ordinance to take in those requirements that are required by the state of New Mexico, especially since Milan is mostly in a floodplain area. This will also allow our code enforcer to take care of the violations that we presently have, or new properties that come in to keep them into compliance with the floodplain.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? If not,
No.
I need a motion to accept this.
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 286 floodplain.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Archuleta, second by trustee Mercer. Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumble,
Yes.
trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
trustee Mercer.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 287, opt-in for municipal elections.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, this resolution allows us to opt into the county election cycle, which would allow us to save a little bit of money there. The county would do the elections, and we would have to determine whether we were going to extend or reduce the present term of those individuals when this begins. And I believe it would begin in 2 years. Is that correct, Denise?
Sorry, I lost my mouse. Yes, that is correct. So if you choose to opt in for shorter terms, it will shorten you by, I believe it's 6 weeks. If you go with the longer term, it's going to lengthen your term by about 9 months. So the way I've drafted this ordinance with the help of the attorneys is this will change the 2024 elected officials to a term ending in November of 2023. Or I'm sorry, a term ending in December of 2023.
This would make the terms starting in January.
Yes.
So, okay, so let me understand this. So, my term would be up in December of 2023?
Yes, that is correct. So you would serve until December 31st of 2023. What this does for the village is basically instead of paying for our own machines, our own workers, our own everything, we basically combine with the county. And in the long run, it does save the village quite a bit of money. And it also it alleviates a lot of the election background work that's done here in the office.
Okay.
So it is totally optional for the board, though. You can choose to stay with the way we've been doing things, which would be the March elections. Currently, there are only, I believe, 18 municipalities running their own election. Everyone else has already gone to county run.
And that is only a 2 month, 2 month period, just about?
Correct.
That's not bad. Any other questions?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. It's, yeah.
Okay, I need a motion then.
So
I'll make
I
a-
make a motion. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I make a
I'll make a
motion to
motion.
accept.
Go ahead, trustee Mercer.
I'll make a motion to accept ordinance 287.
And I'll second the motion.
Motion by trustee Mercer, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Brumble. Trustee Chuleta,
Yes.
trustee Lopez,
Yes.
trustee Mercer,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumble.
Yes.
Thank you. Ordinance 288, fireworks ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, this ordinance, actually, we do have an ordinance present but this one is a little more aimed toward the purchase and sale of fireworks. It limits the fireworks that can be sold. And if you choose to accept it, it will be enacted, I believe, in 20 days. And it'll only be for a 30-day period that it will be active. So this is something the state has requested that we do because of this position we're in at this point with the fire dryness and drought and the fire danger.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, this is a more comprehensive, permanent ordinance dealing with the regulation of and sale of fireworks within the town. If you were trying to do a proclamation, we probably need to do a special meeting and get a proclamation, which is what Linda was talking about, which further limits the use of fireworks. But and I don't know if the fire chief's here. Do we have any wildlands within the town limits?
So Randall, we have urban interface is what they call it. So the village actually borders, it'll be like BLM and or forestry.
I mean, the reason I ask is the fireworks statute allows you to adopt what's called the proclamation, and what it allows you to do is to restrict the use of fireworks, even legal fireworks, to parking lots or barren areas within what they define as what they call wildlands areas, but only under these types of situations, and only if you adopt a proclamation or essentially a resolution. What you got before you now is a more permanent fix dealing with what we define as legal fireworks, what we define as illegal fireworks, and when those can be discharged or not.
So Randall, right now we are under a declaration for severe drought, and so we are prohibiting the use of fireworks right now under one of our other ordinances.
Well, with all due respect, we're not allowed to do that.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, and that was the other thing I was going to get to. The title is a bit misleading because, unfortunately, and I know a lot of people wish we had this power. We do not have the authority as a municipality. And in fact, the governor doesn't have the authority to impose a total ban on fireworks. The legislature simply has not authorized that. So I think we're fairly well covered. If you adopt this ordinance, this will be effective in 5 days, and it will cover pretty much everything you need, I think.
Okay, so let me I got a little bit confused there for a little bit between the three presentations. So the attorney, what exactly is this? What are we voting on here?
This is an update, basically, of your existing fireworks ordinance, which deals with the sale and use of fireworks. It brings up to date more modern definitions of what the fireworks are, what permissible fireworks are, but it does not take that additional step saying that you can that legal fireworks are restricted to paved areas. This is not the document. And if I knew that was what you were trying to accomplish, we would have done a different document. But this is a more long-term way to address fireworks in their use. It does not deal with the short-term emergency that we're facing.
Okay, I hope I'm getting a really bad echo. I don't know if the rest of you are getting the same. Okay, let's try again. Okay, so if there aren't any other questions, does anybody have questions? Anybody else have questions?
I don't have a question, but I do have a concern on this. And the only concern I have with it is that we're cutting off the sale of fireworks in Milan, which sends people to grants that live in Milan that sell fireworks here. But yet they're still getting bought in grants or Pruitt or wherever else they go. So we're basically just sending them out of town. I mean, you know what I'm saying? As far as the sales part, that's the only part I'm concerned with.
Well, Councilor Archuleta, this does not really do that. It simply, what it does is it sets forth specific time parameters that are provided for in the state. So if you look at on page 5 of that document, it talks about when permitted fireworks can be used, the time periods that they can be sold. Those are the same time periods that are provided for in the state statute. So we're not doing anything that any other municipality should be doing. I mean, we're doing exactly what every other municipality should be doing. And if
I misread it wrong then, because I was understanding the way I was reading it was completely cut off sales. So
no, and that's what I wanted to also point out to the mayor and everyone. If we could, the title is a bit misleading, and I would recommend that we strike everything after the word fireworks, because we simply, in the title, because we simply do not have the authority to impose a total ban, and we never have.
Okay, great.
So then Grants is actually using this same type of ordinance, so there shouldn't be any illegal fireworks being sold in Grants at this point?
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Randall, can we can they pass that with the instruction to strike everything after fireworks?
In the title, yeah, I think that's fine. You know, we've talked about this, and that's part of this program and part of this process, and that's just a kind of a ministerial change.
Okay, so I need a motion to accept, if you wanted to accept this and strike everything after fireworks.
I'll make the motion to accept that as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion by Trustee Archuleta, second by Trustee Mercer. Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow,
Yes.
Trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Trustee Mercer.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we go to ordinance 289, water rate ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, this ordinance will allow us to, well, for one thing, we're amending the prior ordinance. And this ordinance will allow us to change the rates by resolution from the time it is official on, which will allow us quicker time to increase the rates as needed.
Okay. Any questions?
I seem to be missing the first three pages of this ordinance. I don't have the first three.
Yeah, I don't have them in my packet either.
You guys are missing page 174, is that correct?
No,
No,
one
it was-
five and, no, wait, see, what, yeah, 170 to 174.
Okay,
One-
let me see if I can
171.
share my screen.
Yes, please.
You guys see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Were there pages prior to that? Because that's the one I have is the 174. It starts off on 174.
Yeah,
Is
it
that-
starts on page 171, is missing 172 and 173.
Correct. You're right. Yeah.
I think mine is numbered differently than yours.
So it's missing the first 3 pages of that ordinance.
Okay, this is page 1 of ordinance 289.
Then maybe I'm just missing the cover page for it, maybe? I don't, of the ordinance?
Yeah, it's different whenever you download the PDF on the village website. It's off a couple numbers.
Okay.
That might
Page
be
1
because we
through-
had the presentations put in.
Because mine shows page 174 at the bottom, and it starts conditions of the village utility department in this ordinance.
That's the same as mine. So is that where it begins then?
No, there's
it
more
should
to it.
start right here on this one that's on the screen, this cover page here.
Denise,
Yes.
we can't see the top of that. It starts out with item B, C, D on 174. And the bottom of your page, it has 1. Can you scroll up on that?
Like right
Yes.
here?
Yeah, Denise, scroll up so we can see the top of page
Page
174.
174. Yeah.
Okay, so how's that?
Because I think
No.
they're right. This is, if I remember, this is about halfway. There's a couple pages that aren't there. This doesn't look like the beginning of that ordinance.
I had Denise and work with the attorney on this one. So we made sure that the wording is the proper wording to allow us to do the resolutions to change the water rates and the sewer rates too.
There we go.
There you
Okay,
go.
it was paused for some reason. So a lot of this ordinance here is mirroring the previous ordinance that we had.
So basically, it'll change it where we just need a resolution to change rates. Is that correct?
Yes.
We made a few changes to the ordinance, but the crux of the matter was we restated most of what you already had. There was a few changes made, and then the biggest change was to allow rates to be adjusted by resolution rather than by ordinance. And if I could get out of the screen sharing, I could pull up my red line version and tell you what we changed if you want to know those changes. But
Let me stop sharing, Randy, and you can go ahead and take over.
let me see if I can. Well, I don't necessarily need to take over. I'm just going to get to to my file here. Let me see if I can find my red line version of this
I know
ordinance.
that we also added the ability to charge the NSF fee through the ordinance.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, and the tampering
Okay,
penalty as well.
Okay, that's the resolution. Stand by. There we go. Okay. Okay, I don't necessarily need to share my screen. I can just, yeah, one of the things we included was the ability to charge $30 for non-sufficient funds checks. We included a criminal penalty for tampering or damaging meters. And then basically what we did was we struck out all of the fees and charges that were in the existing ordinance and transferred those to the resolution, which is the next item on the agenda, to approve it by resolution. That's really what we did. It's a lot of work to accomplish those two things.
Randy, didn't we also add the lien in there as well?
For what? I'm sorry.
The lien, the ability to file a lien on a
Yes,
property?
we actually authorized the filing of liens. And so that, I'm going to X out of here now, get back to where I'm at. That will allow you maybe to give you an additional collection effort. So you may not have quite as many uncollectibles in the future, because what you could do then, you could file a lien on the property once you have delinquent water bills. That becomes an obligation of the person selling the property. And then if that property ever gets sold, we get told about it and we get paid off. I mean, so we may have to wait a while, but it's another vehicle for collections. So those are the changes. They're very minor changes. It's just transferring all those fees and costs from the ordinance to the resolution, which you're going to look at next.
If you guys are not comfortable adopting it tonight, we can always table it for our special meeting on Tuesday. I can add it to that agenda, and the way we advertised it, we're okay to do that.
I mean, and if it's helpful, I can circulate a legislative format, a red line version of this, so you can see what we did. If you want to see precisely what we did.
Basically, this ordinance is an instrument by which we can collect those fees that would normally have to be written off. It allows us to deal with damage to meters and stuff like that, which we couldn't do before. And it allows us to change the water rates and sewer rates easier than having to do a resolution each time.
That's really it. That's really all this ordinance does.
I'm fine with the way it is. After you explained it, I'm fine with it.
I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Okay. I need a motion then.
I make a motion, we accept ordinance 290 or 289. I'm sorry.
I'll second it.
Motion by trustee Mercer, second by trustee Lopez. Trustee Chileta.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumble.
Yes.
Trustee Lopez.
Yes.
Trustee Mercer.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have ordinance 290, expenditure accounting reporting.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, I'm going to ask Candy to explain this. It's something that will be beneficial for the village as well.
So as we've been doing cleanup and stuff. One of the things that we noticed or we've been addressing is paying for things that one are unuseful, or another case, we're not getting any return on it. It was brought to our attention last year that we had no proof that what we were paying for as far as services on some of contracts were actually being fulfilled. And so what this does is the expenditure accounting reporting basically has people who are receiving funding from the Village of Milan for some sort of service or contract obligation to report to us what they're using our funding for. That allows us to justify spending those expenditures without basically just giving money away with no returns. So that's what this ordinance is covering.
It's for things like, say, economic development, the COG, those type of things. It stipulates that if they are not doing and reporting what they should, we will not be supporting them for 2 years.
To me, that makes sense.
I think
Anybody else
it's a
have a
good
question?
idea. Yeah. I'm okay with it. I think it needs to be done.
Any other comments, questions?
No, I'm good.
Okay, if not, entertain a motion to accept this.
I make a motion to accept ordinance 290. I'm sorry, it's, yeah, 290.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Brumble, a second by Trustee Mercer. Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Trustee Mercer,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumble.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we have resolution 2022-024, utility increases.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, this is the document by which will allow us to increase the rates for the water and the sewer. It's actually the follow-up to the ordinance. And if we need to increase rates, say next year, this instrument will allow us to do it in a more timely fashion.
Any questions, comments?
No.
Is this rate increase, is it going to be based on percentage, or how's that going to work?
This year, we raised the rates 4%. So as a rule, we do raise them a little bit each year as to kind of follow the expenses that we need to follow, but without hurting those individuals that are on the water rate and sewer rates that are paying those utilities.
Okay.
Sewer rate charges are being based on the usage of water, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, if you will look at it, it does state on how many gallons that it is based on use of, how many gallons of water.
And in there, doesn't it say it's based on your usage for December, January, and February?
That is correct.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If no more questions, I need a motion to.
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 2022-024.
I'll second it.
Motion by Trustee Mercer, second by Trustee Lopez. Trustee Archuleta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Brumble,
Yes.
Trustee Lopez,
Yes.
Trustee Mercer.
Yes.
Thank you. Last but not least, okay, next we have a request, use of gym for basketball teams.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, we have had some individuals come to us for requests to use our facilities, not just the gym, but the baseball field, soccer field, such as we have available. However, we have to get, because we're government, we can't just give our facilities away. And unfortunately, we're held responsible by the anti-donation. But we want to be fair to our public as well. So we're going to have to decide if we are going to go ahead and provide these facilities and what we'll have to charge, if at all. Randall, do you have any further comment?
Well, yeah, but Mr. Mayor, members of the board, it really depends on who's asking, you know, and what type of organization they are. I mean, if it's a private organization asking to have, you know, exclusive use of our baseball field or soccer field for a period of time, that's a donation that's not appropriate. If it's a, you know, if it's a governmental entity asking us, you know, like if the city of Grants, for example, asked us to free up a football field or a soccer field so that their city-sponsored group could practice, that would be okay because it would be a governmental to governmental exchange. And so we just have to be mindful of the fact that there's a lot of well-meaning organizations out there that need our help, but that we are sometimes hamstrung by the law. And there's ways we can deal with it. You know, there's a concept called quid pro quo. You know, if we get something of value for what we're offering from the little leagues and the boys and girls clubs and whatnot, then we can negotiate those types of agreements. But we just can't say, you know, you have the free reign of our fields just because they're here and you know, we're supporting our kids. It just takes a little more than that.
Okay, I have a question, and this was brought to my attention by some of our legislators and stuff. What do you say to those that tell you the parks, especially now that are paid through taxpayers' money, and everybody's a taxpayer? What do you say to people like that? That, you know, the parks are paid through taxpayers' money.
For members of the public, yeah. But what do you, when an organization comes and says we want to use your baseball field to the exclusion of all the other members of the public for a period of time, that's where the problem becomes. You know, so now you're granting this little league organization, which is a private, not-for-profit organization, exclusive use of your baseball field to the exclusion of everybody else who lives in the village.
See, when we say use, we're talking about, these are volunteer parents that put together teams that need a place to practice, and they're not taking over any time or gym or park or anything like that. What they're doing is just basically using it for a certain amount of time for practice, and it's not excluded to the public still at that point.
Well, then they don't need anything from us. I mean, if a, you know, I mean, I used to do that all the time as a soccer coach. I would take my team to a park and we would practice. We didn't need.
Well, that's what I was saying. We've never had to get permission to use parks
And
or
there's
anything
nothing
like
that says
that.
you
Now, the
can't
gym-
continue to do that. But
the
what
gym, the gym
lot
is
of-
a different issue though.
the gyms are a different
Because-
issue. Baseball fields are
Yeah.
a different issue because you're excluding people.
Well, again, with the gym, for instance, we have to have somebody there to open it or close it, or we can give them a key and make sure they're aware to to not damage anything, of course. For instance, in grants, if we wanted to use a gym, we'd go to the Parks and Rec person, we'd get the key, we sign it out as the coach. And this ain't just to one person, this is to many teams. We have a gym there for a reason, it needs to be used. It's just sitting there. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I'm just concerned, if some kid falls, some kid gets injured, where they're going to look first for reimbursement. I mean,
Right,
the
and
village is
I
going to
spoke
be
to
the
Linda-
first person they sue.
I spoke to
you know-
Linda about this also. People, if they're looking for a lawsuit, they're going to find a lawsuit regardless. If they're at our parks and nobody's around and it's just a party that somebody goes to happen to have, they get hurt on our equipment, they're still coming to us.
No, I understand what you're saying, Council Trustee.
Because I think the same could be said if, it doesn't have to be at a gym or a park. The same could be said if they go to the village hall, get out of the car and fall. It's, they could sue there too because it's village property, But what I'm saying is, speaking for myself, we work hard, or at least I did work really hard to acquire money from the state and to build these parks so different organizations, especially the kids, can enjoy it. But we do not. I don't think we should set. I think the parks and the gyms and anything that the kids can use should be used by the youth of the village of Milan. That's my thing, because right now we don't have anything, and our kids don't have anything to look forward to in the summer or any other time, because we have nothing here in the village of Milan for them to do.
And what we do have, we're trying to charge them for their own insurance and for other things, which is outrageous because a lot of these coaches, again, are volunteers.
And I think a lot of this, taking the flag football, for instance, they have their own insurance. AYSO, they have their own insurance. If they don't, most organizations, they have a thing they call a waiver. They make the parents sign a waiver sheet, but I don't think we should. I really don't think we should just say you cannot because we're afraid to get sued, because they can be anybody can sue, like Trustee said, anybody can sue. It doesn't have to be at the parks, but we can look into a lot of different options. You could, the option of having parents provide their own insurance, having parents sign a waiver, as long as we don't tell kids that they cannot play whatever sport they're into. That, to me, that's not right.
Well, Mr. Mayor, with all due respect, we're not saying that. We're just saying you can't have, the use of our gym, exclusively without, some sort of agreement between us, at least to share, to make sure that there's adequate insurance, to make sure that there's adequate supervision, to make sure that the facility has been inspected and is safe for those kids. Because when we open those doors, we warrant the condition of that facility. And so, by making those warranties, we put ourselves, on the hook. And that's, I'm not saying I'm not saying no, we can't do this, and no, we shouldn't. I'm saying it is very much of a fact dependent situation.
Randy,
Yes, ma'am.
is is there a way, could you give us some options that we could look at and vote out at a different meeting?
Absolutely. I
If
mean, but
can interject-
I guess
if
what I
can
really need
interject
to
real quick.
understand.
Randy, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off. I just want to interject real quick. This is actually something that would be handled by a Parks and Rec director. If we have that taken care of, and when we do, whenever we get it done, we will have, this will be their job is to organize this stuff. Go ahead, Randy.
Well, I was just going to say, I think what we need to do is for me to be effective is I need to ferret out the type of circumstances that we're talking about, and there may be a different fix for different circumstances. It really depends on what we're looking at, the type of activity, how many people, the level of supervision. So, I mean, I'm not sure there's one size doesn't necessarily fit all. But I think, we certainly something I can work with your parks people with. I can certainly work with Linda on, and hopefully we can come to something that will make everyone happy.
Okay, I just have one last comment. In all the years that I've been involved with this sports kids here, I had never run into a situation like this where that's but anyway, that's just my. Anybody else?
I just wondered where our kids can play in the parks that we have and utilize the gym, because that gym sits there empty, and what are we doing? We're paying utilities on it, and we've got kids out here that would love to be practicing and can't. And I think we need to figure out some way that these kids can go in and practice in the gym and on our parks. That was always our goal, is to get things for the kids to do, because we don't have anything in Milan to do.
Amen to that.
I have a grandson who would probably utilize the gym just to go in and play basketball. They go to the school, and I'm not in favor of that, but the gym's locked up when they go. So I would like to see some type of thing where kids can go play basketball one-on-one with their buddies or whatever. But also, doesn't the village have liability coverage on there anyway through New Mexico self-insures if there's any type of accident that was proved to be on the village's side? I mean, if they sprain a leg playing basketball, that's playing basketball. It's different from stepping into a pothole that was left uncovered or something. Does that make sense?
Yes, you do have liability coverage, but every time somebody makes a claim, you're going to be paying against your deductible. So at some point in time, that may be an issue. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to skin this thing. It's just a matter of, I mean, I need to be, I need to be more specific in what you're looking for, and then I can give you more specific.
Randy?
Yes, ma'am.
I can tell you who approaches me weekly. I have 2 basketball teams that have approached me multiple times. I have the AYSO soccer organization that contacts me every time they start a season. We have a For the Kids flag football looking for parks to practice at, multiple teams. We have baseball teams from grants that are run through Grants Rec that need places to practice and places to have games. We have travel basketball teams that are not sponsored by anyone. It's basically a parent volunteering to take these kids to coach out of town tournaments. We have 2 of those. And then we have just kids asking all the time if they can come in and use the gym to play basketball with their friends.
Mhm.
Those would be, someone would have to supervise those, of course.
Of course. Okay.
So if
Those
we
are the
could get a
situations
scheduling
that I
going
get.
on there, would that work? Would that be better if there's a scheduling where you're not leaving out somebody, everybody's included, and you do some type of a scheduling? Would that be okay, and we'd be okay from the anti-donation stuff?
That's what we need a recreation person for.
Yes, I agree. but now's the time where they're playing, where they're using the fields. How about the soccer field when, when soccer comes around? Are we gonna be able to use that for practices or just for games? And how does the city of Grants handle this? They've got numerous parks. How are they handling this? Maybe we need to, I don't know, find out.
Joaquin
what's-
deals with it.
Excuse me?
Joaquin Heron,
Oh, okay,
he deals with all that. He's the recreation director.
okay. And if we could get some kind of stuff going, maybe some recommendations from Randy, that would be great too.
Okay, so what
There's
do
no,
we,
there's no vote on this, right?
no. So what are we gonna leave it at? We're gonna wait until recreation director is hired, which it will more likely be after fiscal year, or because most of this sports, the soccer and baseball's got a few more weeks left, but they're going to be over. So we need to resolve this before soccer starts again and basketball starts again.
Well, for most of your outdoor activities, I mean, those activities are going to take place in public parks. First come, first served. You know, I would have my soccer team meet me at whatever park at whatever time, and we'd stake out our little corner of the park. I mean, and that takes nothing. I mean, nothing's going to stand in the way of that, and that's exactly what people pay their taxes for. You know, and so for that, I have no problem. I just have where I have the biggest heartburn, I think, is with respect to the gym, and we need to make sure that environment is safe, not only for the kids, but for the adults, and that it's, that we minimize our risk. I mean, I think that was where I had the biggest trouble, was with the gym aspect of it.
Okay.
Since we don't have a recreation person, can we maybe appoint 2 people to work with Randy on this, or work with the city of, find out where we can go with all this stuff, or do we have to wait till we hire a recreation person?
If we wait till we hire a recreation person, a lot of the kids are gonna lose out because of the season's gonna be over with.
Agree. So is there some way we can get somebody to work on a committee to see if we can get more information on it, or if Randy can provide us some more information on it?
I'll work with anyone, whatever you need me to do.
Okay.
Let me, why don't we do that? Let me let the trustees think it over and stuff like that, but let me talk to, Monday morning, I can go talk to Linda, and I think, I don't want to be too selfish, but I think myself and trustee Archuleta, being that we're a lot more involved in the sports section of maybe if I talk to her and maybe myself and trustee Archuleta can go and talk to Joaquin Giron and Mr. Stewart from the soccer, and do our recommendations.
It's a great idea. That's a good idea.
I agree. I think
in agreement with
that's the right thing to do.
Okay, if we're all in agreement with that, we shall do that. I will, not tomorrow because of the situation, but Monday.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, Monday's a holiday.
Oh, that's right.
Can we do
Tuesday.
it Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday, we're gonna dedicate the Kearns Field.
Yeah, but it's at 10:30, so I
Okay.
can go in before then.
And you do have a meeting, a special meeting, at, what time was it?
1:30.
1:30.
1:30.
I can be there. I can be there at your office 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning. It won't take long to discuss, and then we can go to Kearns Field.
Okay, that's fine. I'll be here at 8.
Okay. Let me write something real quick before I forget it. Okay. Let's move on then. Updates, village manager.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board, we're moving along. Right now, everybody's watching the budget because it's been closed since the end of May. Actually, the end of April, but Candy let them slide another month. But we're moving. The water department is in good shape right now. They pumped over 15 million gallons and they distributed over 12 million. And they're trying to stay on top of any water breaks we have, which haven't been too many. So they're doing good. Everybody's basically working on what they have instead of spending money until after the opening of the fiscal year. Streets have been cutting weeds and cleaning up the medians. They've been picking up leaves and over at Elkins Park, and they swept the sidewalks. So everybody's helping everybody. The water department, the utilities department, they're all working together. The mechanic shop has been working at things that they planned to work on once the budget shut down. So it's moving there, but it's very slow. And if you will look in your package, you will see those reports. And with that, I will stand for questions.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions.
No.
Okay, if we don't have any questions, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the fire chief.
Good afternoon, Mayor, trustees. I'm going to start off. We had 85 calls total for the month of May. 13 fire calls, 50 for medical calls, and 22 calls for a combination of calls for service, good intent, false alarms. There is a list of fires that we went to there. That's been a pretty busy fire season. Just to touch on a few of the big ones. On the 9th, we had the Quartz fire out in the Zuni Mountains that we assisted with. We did send a tender out there, and Assistant Chief Michael, he went out there. He ended up putting 16 hours in that day to contain that fire. That was about 9 acres, if I remember right. He did spend a lot of hours out there. Another big one we had, let me find it. Let's see, I had an unauthorized burning on Pinon Drive there by the the state highway department. He willfully lit the fire and used a torch. He was trying to burn weeds. He ended up getting a citation. I did write him a citation. He claimed he called the PD and they told him it was okay to do so, which I didn't believe him. We did have a big structure fire, or it wasn't big, but it was a structure fire in Grants on San Jose Drive on the 21st. Prior to that, on the 18th, we had a dumpster fire at the Dollar General here in Milan. We just believe somebody probably just walked by and threw their cigarette in there and caught the dumpster on fire. We had a big structure fire, a total loss structure fire in San Rafael on the 22nd of May. They were burning inside their house. This structure, they did not have any power, any water, trying to keep warm. And then again in San Rafael on the 28th, we had a structure fire up on the hill there where a garage caught on fire. Pretty massive fire, but it was able to be contained to that little area, and the garage did suffer total loss. There's others there in the packet. I'm not going to take too much more time. We are still on a burn ban. I haven't been issuing any outdoor burning permits or anything like that. An update on the remodel project. The abatement was completed for the asbestos, and we did get good sampling results after the cleanup. So now the last couple of weeks, we've been waiting on electricians and plumbers to come in and finish their demolition. Logan did advise they're still waiting on permits before we can start the actual remodel. In May, we did the donations for the firefighters up in the fires up north, and we donated all that to the Red Cross and delivered that. We also had that kindergarten class come visit the village, which went pretty well. We really appreciate you guys' lunch, or the lunch that was provided by you guys, by the trustees. That was really nice. Those kids had a really good time. We got a lot of good feedback on that. We had the run for the wall at the school. Got to see a lot of the veterans and thank them. Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations on your award and to the PD on that. In May, I also had my hoses and ladders tested for the year. I ended up having 4 ladders on 4 of our trucks. 4 out of 5 of our trucks fail. So I needed to order ladders, and Candy was kind enough to help me with that, and we got some ordered. Along with the ladders, I also had 7 hoses fail. And this is normal stuff that happens every year. I expect 7 to 9 hoses to fail every year. It's just means we're using them. So prior to this, I did have hoses on order, and we're still waiting on them. Just like everything else in the fire service, it's taking 6-8 months to get anything shipped and anything received. So I'm trying to get to be a little more proactive on it, order it ahead of time before the season starts again. Also, we had our cylinders for our breathing air tested, and I had 23 out of 58 of those cylinders were out of date, so they are expired. I got enough to cover us for now. The Fire Protection Fund grant has just opened up 2 days ago. So I don't know if I'm going to go after a grant to replace these cylinders, which will be approximately about $25,000 to $30,000 to replace. They got to get replaced. I need them. but I don't know if I'm gonna go after a grant yet to do that because the grants that are open, I'd rather go after something bigger. And I'll be coming to you guys probably next meeting on my decision and for approval. As far as training, wildland classes, I had 2 volunteers complete their wildland class, which was just in time because we're responding to a bunch of wildland urban interface fires now. So they have good training and hopefully they'll be a lot more safer out there performing their duties. Hazmat class started now at the beginning of June. I do have 1 volunteer attending that class. It's a prerequisite before they can get their certification for Fire 1. I'm also an instructor in that class. So the last 3 weekends now, I've been out there helping the adjunct or the lead instructor instruct some of those classes. I feel if any of our people are attending any type of class and I can help instruct it and be there and make sure they're learning what they need to know to better our community and our fire department, I'm going to be there every step of the way. Assistant chief and myself, we were actually scheduled to take a NIMS class in ICS 300, which is incident command class this week. But that got put off with the other fire that was happening down south by the ice caves. So we had to opt out of that class, but we should be able to retake that class probably in the next month or 2. That is a class that through FEMA for incident command. So as chief officers, it's a very good stuff we got to have, especially for the incidents that we've been having lately are fairly large. And in the fire service, police service, pretty much all the way across the board nationwide, we use this incident command system. And that way everybody's unified and are aware of what's going on during the incident. Otherwise, you've got my packet. If you guys got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And if anybody's got any
Daniel,
questions. Yes, sir.
What do you got on that? What we're talking about with the weeds? The hole over that thing.
Using the farm you're talking about, like we talked about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten anywhere. I got with Dustin and we want to try to include the US Forestry on that because they do slash piles out in the forest and see how they actually work it out. And that way we can try to implement something. For now, the only thing we're suggesting for the people with the tumbleweeds that are gathering in the yard because of this wind is they're just gonna have to haul them off by hand right now. I know everybody's asking if they can burn them, which that is not the best idea in the world, and we're not going to allow it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have a question? If not, thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
We go to the board comments. Trustee Archuleta.
I don't have no comments tonight.
Trustee Mercer. Trustee Mercer.
I don't have any comments at this time.
Thank you. Trustee Lopez.
I just want to say thank you to all our employees. You guys are doing a pretty good job. I will, and also stay safe. COVID is really out there, hitting everybody pretty hard. Wear your masks if you have to. Stay safe.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Brumbelow.
No comments.
Whoa. Okay, I do. Last month, I neglected to mention 3 very important businesses, if you will, that donated to our drive, the drive that the village of Milan and the trustees, and that we had, they took to northern New Mexico to the people in need and the firefighters and all that. It was Joanne Martinez from Homestake. They always help our village. They're always donating to us, which and Tom Everhart from Loves. I went over there and they were more than happy when asked for donations. So was Sandra Chavez from John Brooks, better known as Milan Supermarket. Thank you to those three. I'm sorry if neglected to recognize you last month. And happy Father's Day. Yeah.
Mayor, I don't mean to interrupt. One of those I failed to mention to you guys, when I went to fuel up before we left, Mr. Carver did fuel up the unit that we used to take. So
Yeah,
I'd like to thank him as well.
yeah, I did thank him last month,
Okay.
so as well. Thank you.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, happy Father's Day to all the dads. If you still have your father, you are blessed. Enjoy it with your family, some to eat, and but always be careful. Happy 4th of July. Enjoy it. I'll always enjoy all this holidays and stuff. Enjoy them, but be careful. Please don't mess around with fireworks this year. Thanks to all our employees. You are all doing a great job. Special thanks this time around to Jack and Manuel. Well, Manuel, he likes to be called Manuel. They did a terrific job installing the sprinklers at Maribel Park. They were working there from sunup to sundown. It seems like they did a really good job. Trick for Trash was a big success. Thanks to all the employees that helped. Finally, we will have a ribbon cutting for Kearns Field. We have patiently waited for this day. We still need some touch-ups, but we are almost there. Special thanks to our representatives and senators, to our employees that work so hard for all their hard work. Thank you very much. If you see a veteran, thank her or him for the sacrifices they do. If you can, please donate to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. Please do so. And continue to pray for